Thank you for joining us today for another segment of LR5, where Londonderry Republicans have 5 minutes to interact on various topics. Joining us today is Brian Cole, candidate for Congress in the 1st Congressional District. Little bit of background concerning Brian Cole. He's a New Hampshire native. Manchester's Ward 7 is his home. He's a small business owner. He's currently in his 2nd term as a state representative. Brian, if you could please tell us a little bit about yourself, your reasons for deciding to run, and what would be the priorities of a Brian Cole victory. Go.
Excellent. Well, thank you for having me. Appreciate being here. Yeah, I'm in my 2nd term up at the State House. My 1st term, I was on Commerce and Consumer Affairs. We handled all the insurance, New Hampshire banking, and New Hampshire Liquor Commission legislation. In my 2nd term, I'm the Vice Chair of Housing, and I'm also on Ways and Means. So we're seeing a lot of bills. We actually have about 71 bills coming in January. So we're going to be up there a long time up at the State House, but it's good. It's all been good. Yeah, I actually retired from my business. I owned a wholesale company for 25 years, and here in Manchester, I imported tools into the United States, and I sold them to retailers throughout the USA. And I was fortunate enough in my career to retire last year, so I'm pursuing this congressional race full time. This is my new occupation, my new full-time job. I'm having a blast. I'm having a great time going around meeting all kinds of great people, and I'm being well received everywhere that I go. My big 3 reasons for running is, number 1 is energy. In New Hampshire, we have the highest energy prices in the country, once again. And I'm very interested in nuclear and doing nuclear. So I went down to Washington about a month and a half ago, and I met with the Department of Energy, and they're all on board for doing nuclear. So I met with NextEra, who owns Seabrook, and they're actually doing the same thing that I want to do out of Michigan right now, where they have a retired plant like we have in Seabrook, and they're building 2 small modular reactors, and they'll use the fuel from the old plant in order to fuel the new plant. So that should help with energy prices. I don't know if it's going to reduce them, but it'll certainly slow how fast they've been increasing, right? Coming out of that meeting, NextEra wants New Hampshire to be a host state. So they want to build the nuclear here. We already had the 2nd pad approved in Seabrook. So a lot of those barriers are already gone. And the Department of Energy is actually willing to bankroll it. So there's no barrier to money coming into that project too. So I met with Google, who's interested in coming, an AI company coming into New Hampshire. And I also met with Tom, who's the Department of Energy for the state of New Hampshire. And he's reaching out to his counterparts and the other surrounding states to us to see if they're interested in purchasing power from New Hampshire. So that's exciting stuff. I think it's something that we need to do. I don't think nuclear has the same stigma that it had 40 years ago. I think people are very accepting about it. And everywhere I go, it's a great conversation. Everyone's really engaged about it. So that's exciting stuff. And we're pushing forward with that. And I'm not waiting to get elected to do it. I'm just doing it now because I am representative. Yeah. My 2nd thing is we met with $9 billion biotech companies that are interested in coming to New Hampshire. New Hampshire, we changed our right to try laws last year. So if you have a terminal illness and you only have 3 or 4 months to live, we say that you should have access to any kind of treatment, try any kind of treatment to save your life, right, to prolong your life. And because we did that, we have the best laws in the country now. So that industry is very interested in coming here. I actually proposed legislation in September. We'll be hearing it in January to expand it to chronic illnesses, because there's a company called Ebibone here in Manchester. They're actually growing bone right now in Manchester. But beyond that, they can grow your own cartilage in your body. So say you're a runner and your knees are shot, rather than getting a knee replacement, we can grow your own cartilage back. This isn't science fiction. They're actually doing it right now. So it's exciting, innovative stuff. This industry, if it comes to New Hampshire, is a $126 billion industry. It's more than the whole GDP of the whole state of New Hampshire. So that brings a lot of money, a lot of revenue, a lot of great paying jobs. It's exciting, exciting stuff. And then my 3rd thing would be securing our border with Canada. We have 58 miles of open border with Canada. And there's no fencing, there's no nothing. It's basically an open field. And they're doing human trafficking, and they're bringing drugs across the state of New Hampshire. And we've seen a lot of problems with the opioid crisis. And this is part of it. They're bringing in pot across the border. bringing it down to Lawrence, dividing it up there, going to New York. They're picking up the fentanyl, the cocaine, and they're trafficking it back through New Hampshire into Canada. That's why we're seeing such a problem with our drug problem. So I should say, when I get elected to Congress, I will get resources to secure our northern border. Those are my top three big issues.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, I did see that on your website. Thank you for just reiterating that. It's almost that all the attention is on, say, the southern border.
Yeah.
When people think of say Canada, it's just like, oh yeah, it's no big deal. It's it's wilderness, and people wouldn't come that way. But unfortunately, you've brought to the attention of a lot of people that is the case. Another thing I did see on your website was a quote of your philosophy, and it states, do the right thing, listen more than you talk, and always put people first. As soon as I read that, the only thing I could think of was too many politicians currently in Washington, D.C. don't even do one of those things.
Yeah.
So it would be refreshing to get, just these new people in positions of power that don't forget where they came from, why we put people there to do the job of us constituents.
Yeah, we need to put New Hampshire first and do what's right for any legislation that I put it forth up at the State House. You can check my record. Nothing has ever been self-serving. It's all been about helping out the state of New Hampshire.
Sort of keeping with our timeline, what I'd like to do is just to remind everyone that once we finish speaking here, I'll put a copy of your business card on the podcast, so people will be able to see your QR code, the phone number, and your email to get in touch with your campaign.
You can go to coalfordnewhampshire.com, and that's my website too. If you want to see any of my positions, everything's right there on the website.
Excellent, excellent. Yep, like I said, I was browsing that over the last few days, and happy to see what you did bullet point on the different items. So again, Brian, thank you so much for taking time away from your busy schedule to speak with us today. I would encourage Londonderry citizens to find out more about this excellent candidate. So please, again, take a look at his website. And then just to wrap up, so until next time, if the creek don't rise, if the good Lord's willing, we will see you all again soon. Thank you and have a great day.
Yep, thank you for having me on.